Boker Tov, everybody. Good morning. Hope you are doing well. My name is Menachem Creditor. I'm the scholar in residence at UJ Federation of New York, and it is our delight to wish you all a really good morning, to bring you a blessing, some words of Torah, and some heart. It is sunny today in New York. I hope you are somewhere near a window. I hope that you'll have the chance, in a responsible way, to go take a walk and breathe in some beautiful air. There is something about having sunshine 2 days ago and then snow yesterday, and then sunshine again. Let's not miss this gorgeous moment in the light. So let's start with this. Let's sing a blessing for learning. If you don't know it, you are welcome to sing it anyway. One of the virtues, I think, of these digital technologies is people can be more brave with what they contribute and then choose to unmute their microphone based on the platform. But for now, I'm going to imagine all of you, and there are quite a number of people joining right now. I'm going to imagine all of you singing your hearts out with me as we welcome in the day together. One more time, just without the words. Get your throat ready, get your heart ready. לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה, הפוך בה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. תדיה לי 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 לי, תדיה לי לי לי, תדיה לי לי. All right. First of all, what a gift. I never start the morning with this many people. Look what we're doing together. It is an amazing gift to see some familiar faces. I see someone's not hearing some sound. Can we have a couple responses to let that person know whether or not the sound's coming through? And then I will learn too. I see that there are hearts and likes, and I'm guessing that means you could hear my question. So I'm hoping that everyone now has sound. Thank you for that. Again, we just started a new book of the Torah. We started the book of Vayikra, of Leviticus. And yesterday I shared how my teacher, Professor Jacob Milgram, emphasized that the book of holiness, this incredible, thank you, Laurie, for letting us know. There is something really incredible about the ritual rules, the regulations around the priesthood and sacrifices, and how that ultimately pointed to relationship. I pointed to that small aleph that begins the book, the small aleph as part of the word Vayikra, that God called Moshe, and that meant that God was making space, at least in my reading, in my heart's reading. It means that God was making space for Moshe when you can be so either intoxicated by the divine, as Rabbi Daniel Hartman says, or so overwhelmed by God, as some people experience, for the good and in complicated times like this one, that it can be hard to find the space to express yourself and find your own heart at home. So what I wanted to first encourage you to do, and by you, I mean me and anybody else who's willing, is to remember that your heart has space in this world, and that for all of the headlines that we need to continue paying attention to, and all the rules we need to continue following, and for all of the challenge of that, think about what it is. If you are the one responsible for getting groceries, to look at the person who is heroically staffing the cashier, and to know that their heart has space, your heart has space, and thanking them means even more now than it did before. What is it going to be, please God, when we are done with this ordeal, to go into a store and to notice the cashier? Will we notice the cashier? Will we be so resilient, I guess, or will we adjust so quickly that we'll forget what it was to cherish these relationships even more than we ever have before? Will we make the same effort to reach to each other from a place of responsibility, from a place of love, from a place of kindness? There's a small teaching that I wanted to share. It isn't related to this week's Parsha, but it is part of the teaching I'm doing for UJA Federation in some of my learning groups. It's a teaching by my teacher, my friend, Rabbi Shai Held, who I love so much, and who's doing some great teaching with Mechon Hadar, and everywhere anyone is lucky enough to learn from him. He looks at the blessing we say in the morning, Modeh Ani. And Modeh Ani is something that we say, or Moda Ani for a woman, is I am thankful before you, God. Shehechezarta bi nishmati b'chamla rabba emunatecha, that God, you have returned my soul to me. Well, if I'm alive, and thank God I am, thank God you are, thank God, thank God, thank God, then this posture of gratitude that is embodied in that blessing is incredibly overwhelming. And in moments like this, gratitude is so important to cultivate inside of me. There's so much to be worried about, of course. And there's so much to be grateful for, of course. So Shai teaches this in a book that's edited by another dear friend of mine, Rabbi Elliot Cosgrove at Park Avenue Synagogue. Shai has this teaching about the Modeh Ani, about I am grateful. It actually doesn't say in the Hebrew order of the words, I am grateful. It says, grateful am I. And what Shai understands that to mean is that gratitude is the definition of me. Gratitude is the definition of me, and that's how I become a self. By seeing my place in the world and by saying, how could I possibly have earned the glory of the sunshine? How were we so lucky to have this access to technology and being connected to each other in moments that would otherwise isolate us completely? How lucky are we? Of course, I'm not ignorant of the world and this incredibly hard moment and the people who are really struggling. And I offer them, and I'll ask you to say amen to the sentence, may they be strengthened, may they find health, may we be safe. I mean that, of course, from the depths of me. I also know that this world contains blessing that we are only beginning to understand. We have a responsibility to see this moment and learn from it. How lucky we are. What good news that is. What good news it will be. I was working with some young leaders at UJA last night, and one of them asked a really profound question that I wanted to share with you. It's a question that probably is in our hearts and we don't always ask out loud, even when we have these opportunities. Someone said, how do you remain hopeful when we don't know the countdown, the end to this? And I said, I don't really know, but here's a thought. Let's you and me make a coffee date for June. Let's you and me decide that we're going to learn together. Let you and me decide right now. Let us decide that we are going to learn from this lesson. That the weird things that we are noticing in the world, like smog suddenly not being visible in China from space for the first time, dolphins returning to the canals of Venice, that is not a simple blessing. But look at what that could mean for the world if we were to be more mindful about this world that God has entrusted to us. Look at this world. And just for a moment, before we say good morning to each other and wish each other a good day, I encourage you, take your hand, place it right here. Your heart has room in this world. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel taught us that happiness is the certainty of being needed. It makes us happy when we know that we are called to be in service of the other. On this moment, we are each other's other. when we hang up or when I click the finish button on this Facebook Live, who are you going to call? How will you be present for someone else? How will you be in service of the other? And of course, that's simply a responsibility you have, but it will also make you happy. How lucky we are that we have these easy happinesses within reach, because we are within reach of each other. So please, please, please tend to your heart. Remember that it has space. Don't miss the gratitude moments, even in this. Be present. So I see a request from my teacher, my friend, my colleague, and my across the hall teacher, Lynn Lightgeller. She said, can we sing Moderni? So there are a million melodies. I'll just choose one at random, and hopefully it'll be one that makes you happy. And why not combine it with one of the teachings I was just doing? I said something about the light. So some people sing Moderni to You Are My Sunshine. I did it once when I was leading the Zimriya at Camp Ramah Nyack. So either it'll make you smile, maybe it'll just make you smile. But here's Moderni. Moderni lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechezarta binishmati bechemla rabba emunatecha. One more time because it felt good. Moderni lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechezarta binishmati bechemla rabba emunatecha. May you feel so much love today. May you feel connected to the world around you. May we feel grateful to be in a world where there is light and friendship and care. And may we make a commitment to meet each other in glorious sunlight very, very as soon as is possible. Be safe, be healthy, find some joy today. Good morning, everyone.